What's up, my fellow big game pursuers? We're hoping you're getting as much enjoyment out of these wild country videos as we are, and hopefully learning a thing or two along the way. This week, we rejoin Mark and Taylor in Utah at Wild Country Adventures. First things first though, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you aren't late to the party and you'll know when we post a new video each week. So sit back, unwind, and enjoy Wild Country. This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Leupold. Be relentless.
Even though we've had great encounters, we've been chasing our target buck, we've been seeing other really pretty mature deer, it just hasn't been able to happen. And now we're getting to the Thursday time frame, and I'm really getting stressed out. But I have high hopes between me and Mark, we can make these last couple days count.
Just incredible out here. It's impossible to be in a bad mood, I can tell you that. I love this place. Just an honor to be walking these same hills that so many people have walked. And I don't know of another group like Wild Country that actually takes as many animals. Pretty awesome. It's gonna be a great day today, I got a feeling. What are you seeing this morning, big boy?
So far I've seen about 10 does, a little bit slow.
You know, we talked about it, you know, weather conditions, DeerCast is starting to drop, pressure's dropping, second warm day, and much like white-tailed deer, it kind of predicted that it was going to be slowing down a little bit today, but that's the way it goes. You get your good days and your bad days, you just got to hunt them. Unfortunately, the bad days require more glassing and more diligence yet, especially out in this country, man. Look where we're sitting. So, we've been spotting all morning and kind of double teaming this, if you will, different tactic here in the mountains because they're so steep, so severe, and the distance is so great. We're over here and they saw a deer below us that these guys have been looking for all season called the sequel. And Austin now has him in the Leupold spotter getting awesome bone scope footage of him. We'll definitely try to make a play on this big guy.
Day 4. We're into mid-morning now, and we've been glassing a really big deer that they call sequel. So we're gonna see if we can try to get closer, put him to bed, and then go on a stalk. Here we go.
We got lots of really pretty footage of this buck during the summertime in the July and August months. And we've actually watched this deer for, this is the 3rd year. We watched him 3, 4, and now he's a 5-year-old buck. We call him the sequel because Kenny, 3 years ago when he found him, he looked like a buck that we were hunting that year, and he thought he was the sequel to that buck, and so that's kind of how he got his name.
I'm just doing a little filming of DeerCast here, and looking at the wind speeds, we're looking at about 5-6 mile an hour right now, but by 10, 11 o'clock, it's supposed to be 14 to 17, so wind speed covers all your little mistakes, anything you might do wrong that the deer can hear. The wind speed's going to help you out, so you don't want to go in quiet if you have wind coming. DeerCast says wait until about 11 or 12 o'clock today. Austin and I are going to go try and get a better view of him because he slipped over that ridge. If by chance he starts coming our way, I'm taking my bow just in case, but the plan is to try and get Tom and Taylor, who are on that other ridge, over here with us. They can't leave that ridge because they can still see the deer. So they're hoping to bet him from over there. However, if he gets on the move, comes to us, there's Quakies on the backside. We'll have to try a shot, but the goal is to try and get Taylor here first. Well, we've spent the last 2 hours looking for this buck. Well, he went out of our sight, and even in the footage, all you could see is his head. So Wade, Taylor, Tom went way around to where they should be able to see him, and they looked and looked and looked and couldn't find him. So I don't know what happened. I mean, that deer literally vanished into thin air. We never saw him again. So we're gonna keep trying to find that needle in the haystack, or a muley in the mountains, if you will.
Well, we're back on a buck that they call. We actually stopped about 18 yards of him yesterday. But all we can see is his rack shot. So.
All right. So can you see the one sarvisberry bush that has the real orange on top of it?
Then to the left there's 2 smaller sarvisberries, and then the next biggest sarvisberry has some lighter green or yellow on top of it. That's the bush he's under.
So incredibly exciting. We're back in the game, believe it or not, on the same deer that Taylor stalked yesterday afternoon. Once again, we're in the spotting position. Tom, Wade, Taylor are 80 yards in closing. Literally awesome. Come on, Taylor. We're rooting for you again from the cheap seats.
Can you see that doe? It would be to the left of the deer and maybe 10 yards further past it. A bird just landed in the sarvisberry she's under.
They're 45 in closing.
We got a new player in the game though with that doe.
I know. I couldn't believe the words coming out of your mouth when you said it. I was like, it is always something, isn't it? The buck just got up out of his bed and took off running away from him after all that. 0 for 2 on this big guy.
So this afternoon, Mark's whitetail instincts are starting to kick in, and he says, why don't we go throw a camera down on the water hole and let's just go sit there. We know the other night when we stalked him, that's where he was headed. So why not just go beat him to the spot?
Now it's going into the evening, and we're gonna get back on that water strategy a little bit. We had that camera on that water hole. Austin and I checked it again today. We had a shooter there last night. So we're gonna get down into that pond and maybe be where he's going, as opposed to try and cut him off on the way, all that brush. So let's get this thing done.
For me, I'm not a big sitter. I'm kind of impatient when it comes to mule deer. That's what I like about them though. I can go after them opposed to waiting for them. But this just might be the recipe we need to get Meatloaf on the ground.
All right, Wade and I are actually headed into a ground blind tonight. We're kind of switching it up. Dad and Austin put the ground blind up about 2 nights ago, and a Reconyx on it, and there's 3 really nice deer coming to the water, and that puts the deer at like 20 to 25 yards, so perfect for my range. We'll see if one of our targets come in tonight.
We're going to a little pond down here. Hot day today, 82 degrees. DeerCast says good though, so we'll see if it's good enough that they get up early enough to make it to the water in time. That's the gamble with these old boogers.
So we're down on the water hole. The one thing I'm nervous about is we're in the mountains. The wind's swirling, your thermals change. You just never know which way your wind's gonna be blowing. But that doesn't mean we didn't have great encounters with some awesome deer and some awesome bulls.
All right, here's the map. Found the pond, elk in the way. But we're set up. 2 beautiful pines right here, 40, 50 yards from the pond. But anyway, we're gonna be ready here in a second.
We have had an eventful 3.5 days so far. We've been on some great stalks. We've had awesome encounters with beautiful
we said, let's go to this water. We've got a fairly decent breeze right down the draw, so Kenny sees him up on top. Here we go. Wish us luck. That cow walked off. There's a bull coming right in. Our thermals are sliding. We're making a big move here at the last second. We have to. We're aborting the pond mission. We're going to go across the valley. Much as we hate to, we have to.
Three really pretty deer. They all came in at the same time. I think one is mature. It just wasn't in me to shoot him, but beautiful deer. Such a cool sight to see him.
Not Meatloaf. Well, we're on our way out after a kind of a blown attempt, but we learned something, so I'm excited even though we had a blown attempt tonight. That wind in the middle of that draw, in that tree that you can see right there, is literally perfect. We only have to be about 5-6 feet off the ground because it's below the dam. All we gotta do is got plenty of cover, get to where we can see the pond. Even though sometimes you have a blown attempt, you can still go learn something that helps you in the future.
We're becoming creatures of habit. We love that high knob that we can glass the basin for meatloaf. So back we go.
All right, we've been in hot pursuit. We walked in, we got to where we want to be, but the deer have turned, and they're now going down towards the bottom, which is where that pond is that we sat last night, that the elk came to. So we're just gonna wait and see what they do this morning. If they feed back up this way, we're in play. If they go into the trees in bed, eject, come back this evening, may even hang a set midday. The chess match, it's never ending with mule deer. We've probably been walking about, I don't know, half mile or so. We're getting close to where we want to be, I know that. We've seen him up in this corner a couple different times.
We get around, we pop up, there he is, bedded under the harvest bears. We have him at 50 yards.
We are at about 48 yards. Austin, go a little bit further. I go, he goes, I go. That's the wind we need right there.
As we make our move, we're only moving when the wind blows. So I would move 5 yards, Mark would move 5 yards. I would move 5 yards, Mark would move 5 yards. I take a glance over to where Meatloaf is, and he's up, and he's coming our way. Mark's kind of back behind me, just off my left shoulder. Meatloaf is walking right at us. He's at 45, 35, 25. My adrenaline's going, my anxiety's up. I gotta slow myself down if we're gonna make this happen. Thank you for watching this episode of Wild Country.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Leupold.